Welcome back to the Real Wrestling and another edition of NXT Out of 10. It's the biggest episode of NXT since the Great American Bash, with Tony D'Angelo defending the NXT Championship against Naraku in a rematch and a street fight. Could it be the time Naraku takes over, or Tony D continue his dominance? We also got a big match with Natty taking on Jada Parker, so a lot going on, but we start things off with a six-man tag. Dark State against Sugars, Noam Dar and Romeo Moreno. And yeah, Dar and Moreno might be the only people on the NXT roster Dark State haven't made enemies out of until now. That is, they allowed Sugars to tag in early so he could get his hands on Lennox, only for Lennox to immediately tag out. Dark State was in control during the break. Sugars was impressive once he finally got going, while Dar and Moreno were fun to watch with their aerial offense. There was enough to wake the crowd up moments before Sugars sent Lennox through the pale structure before the barricade. With Sugars out of the occasion, the remaining members of Dark State were able to dominate Moreno, and Otis Griffin picked up the victory. I'm going to give it 6 out of 10, a solid opener. As we then moved on to Kendall Gray saying she would have preferred to run it back with either Kalani or Callie, but was happy Lola Vice would become normal contenders for the Women's Championship. Vice wants Gray to prove that her win over her at the Grab wasn't a fluke, and she had to scratch and claw her way to the championship before finally getting the job done at Stand and Deliver. Gray bit back by telling Vice that she doesn't need validation, nor does she the years to prove herself as she worthy of holding that gold. Unlike Vice, they argued between the two of them was a long week before Vice claimed that she may have been to know in a match but not in a fight. This led to them making it official for the August 4th edition of NXT. I mean, yeah, a rematch. I'm not massively keen on it, but I think it will be a decent match. But yeah, I just don't know if there could have been better challenges, possibly. We then got Keanu Carver versus Hank Walker. Carver temporarily sidelined Hank Walker after attacking him outside the arena at the Gab. He already defeated Walker's tag partner Tank Leisure 2 weeks ago, and there was no reason to believe this is going to be different. Sure enough, Carver dominated the majority of the match. Walker had a brief flurry of offense, only get put down by Carver. Following his victory, Carver continues to beat down Hank and Tank, but was thwarted by Prosser, and they joined forces to hit their finish on him and leave him banging. So yeah, an intriguing lot for you coming out there. 5 out of 10. As we then moved on to Jada Parker, who was immediately at a disadvantage due to her Natty having Carmen Petrovich and Nikita Lyons in their corner. They helped Natty target Parker's knee going into the break. But in a cruel twist of fate, Parker weakened Natty's own knee and locked her in a sharpshooter. Lyons and Petrovich argued over whether they should throw the towel in for Natty, but it was ultimately Hale who popped up at ringside to sit for them and give Parker a big victory. Yeah, great result for Parker, and hopefully she can really kick on and be such an established star. Moving on then to Sean Spears versus Nico Vance. If you're hoping Spears would return to his 10 gimmick, you were disappointed. He attacked Vance from behind in the ring, so Spears never had a formal entrance, and thus it's unknown what his music will be going forward. They had an acceptable outing with Vance showing he could hang with the experienced Spears. Spears hasn't been a babyface for a few years yet. He did well in the role here. Rain ran to ringside to thwart Dane's interference, leading to Spears capitalising on the referee distracting and pulling an Eddie Guerrero by pretending to be knocked out by a chair for the DQ win. I'll give it a 5 out of 10. We then got Reina Vulcan against Skylar Ray. There's been a ton of hype for Vulcan online since she put pen to paper with WWE a few months ago. She looked like a star when she debuted in Destroying Paxi 3 weeks ago, but this is our first chance to see what she can do in the ring. This is a standard squash you'd expect Vulcan to have in her debut match. Ray was a perfect first opponent for Vulcan, as she sold her offense exceptionally well and made it all look more devastating. Vulcan utilised multiple backbreakers before winning with a rack attack. Yeah, I mean, a decent squash, but you know, can't really be any higher than a 4, can it? Before we then got the NXT Championship street fight, Tony D versus Naraku. Amazingly, this marked the first street fight ever for the NXT title. We've seen the title defended almost every stipulation imaginable over the last 14 years, but not a street fight until now. Tony D didn't waste time for taking the fight to Naraku and chose to forego the in-ring instructions. Naraku then split Red Mist into the face of Tony D before bringing chairs into the mix. It led to multiple weapons being incorporated into the matchup, including garbage cans, a ladder and a kendo stick. All of them got used and even brought her back during a commercial break. For the finish, Tony D blocked a second shot of Red Mist from Naraku before planting him through a table off the steel sets to retain his title. Santana then walked through the crowd to make it known that he's officially in NXT and has his sights set on the gold. I mean, yeah, this is really exciting, isn't it? Obviously, Santana's such a big star in TNA, and now he's officially in NXT. I really can't wait to see what he can do. 7 out of 10. NXT this week gets a 6 out of 10 for me. With everything it had advertised, NXT needs to hit a home run, and it did that. The NXT Championship took centre stage for the first time in a few weeks in a street fight that closed the highlight on a whole night. Santana's signing of NXT is huge and gives the brand a big boost in the top title picture. Vulcan's rise will be interesting to follow, and Jada Parker slowly building momentum again. The leftover feuds from the Gab aren't very compelling, but at least the opening segment heated Sugars and Lennox back up. Other aspects of the addition, such as Carver v Hank Walker and Sean Spears v Vance, hurt the overall throw, but there's more to it than not. This wasn't billed as a special edition of NXT, but you know, it was probably stronger than your usual episode of NXT. So yeah, 6 out of 10.
That's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.